Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something straight. Life will not wait for you to toughen up. Every excuse you've made, every time you've backed down, every moment you chose comfort over courage, that's the reason you're stuck where you are. You want change? Stop being so weak. The world doesn't care about your feelings. It respects your strength. This is your wake-up call to rise, to fight, and to finally take control of your life before it slips away. And once you make that decision to stop being weak, you begin to see life through a different lens. The same situations that once discouraged you start to challenge you instead. The same obstacles that once made you retreat now ignite something fierce within you. You realize that life doesn't get easier, you simply get stronger. What once broke you now builds you. What once scared you now sharpens you. That's the transformation that begins when you stop giving weakness a voice in your mind. Weakness whispers, take it easy. Strength replies, do it anyway. Weakness says, it's too late. Strength says, start now. Weakness feeds you comfort. Strength feeds you character. And that's the real difference between those who live small and those who live greatly. It's not opportunity, luck, or intelligence. It's their relationship with discomfort. The weak run from it, the strong chase it down. You see, strength is not loud, it's quiet. It's not about shouting or pretending to be tough. It's about discipline when no one is watching. It's about control when emotions want to take over. It's about staying consistent when motivation disappears. Weak people let their emotions control their actions. Strong people make their actions control their emotions. That's mastery. That's what separates the ordinary from the exceptional. If you look around, you'll see a world full of people waiting. Waiting for clarity, waiting for motivation, waiting for luck. They stand still, hoping that someday something will magically change, but nothing changes until they do. You could live your entire life waiting for the right circumstances, and you would die waiting, because circumstances are never right. They are only shaped by those bold enough to act despite them. You have to understand that. Waiting is weakness disguised as patience, and every day you hesitate, you're giving away pieces of your power. Strength grows when you demand more from yourself than the world demands from you. When you stop expecting life to be fair and instead decide to make yourself unbreakable. When you stop wishing for an easier road and start building stronger legs. You have to ask yourself, what have you been tolerating? What weakness have you been protecting under the excuse of that's just how I am? Every time you protect your excuses, you betray your potential. You were built for more, but you've been living like less. There comes a point when you have to stop negotiating with your own laziness. Stop arguing with your own fears. Stop listening to that inner voice that tells you you're not ready, not good enough, not capable. That voice isn't your friend, it's your enemy in disguise. It's the echo of every failure you never challenged, every disappointment you never learned from, every fear you never confronted. But here's the truth. Every time you push through that voice, it gets quieter. Every time you act despite fear, confidence takes its place. Weakness hates action. It feeds on hesitation, on overthinking, on the endless planning that never becomes doing. You have to starve it. Starve it by acting before you're ready. By deciding first, figuring out later. The strong know that clarity comes from movement, not from thought. The weak wait for understanding before acting. The strong act their way into understanding. That's why they win. You have to harden your mind, not in a way that makes you cold, but in a way that makes you unshakable. Because life will not spare you. You'll lose people, you'll fail, you'll get betrayed. You'll fall short of your own expectations. That's guaranteed, but none of it defines you unless you let it. Pain will visit you. It's part of the journey, but suffering is a choice. Weakness turns pain into defeat. Strength turns pain into fuel. There's a reason why some people rise from the ashes while others remain buried in them. It's not the weight of the world that breaks a person, it's the way they carry it. You can curse the burden, or you can build the shoulders strong enough to bear it. You can cry about the storm, or you can learn to walk through it. Either way, the storm is coming, so you'd better be ready. Stop letting the small things break you. Stop letting temporary pain dictate permanent decisions. You get tired, yes, but don't confuse tired with finished. You get rejected, yes, but don't confuse rejection with worthlessness. You fail, yes, but don't confuse failure with defeat. The weak do, the strong don't. The strong understand that every scar carries a lesson, and every lesson carries strength. When you stop being weak, you stop needing everything to be perfect before you act. You stop chasing motivation and start chasing mastery. You stop chasing validation and start chasing growth. You stop seeking comfort and start seeking challenge. That's when life opens up. Because the truth is, most people don't need another opportunity. They need to grow strong enough to handle the opportunities they already have. Ask yourself, how many times have you known what to do but didn't do it? How many times have you promised yourself you'd change, only to break that promise when things got hard? Every broken promise chips away at your confidence. Every time you avoid the hard thing, you teach yourself to retreat instead of advance. You're programming your own weakness. You can't respect yourself if you keep lying to yourself. Strength begins when your actions finally align with your words. The weak person dreams of change. The strong person builds it. The weak person complains about circumstances. The strong person creates new ones. The weak person blames the world. The strong person takes responsibility. You have to choose which side you're on. Every decision, every thought, every action either strengthens you or weakens you. There's no neutral ground. Start small if you must. Get up earlier. Speak truthfully. Do the thing you said you'd do even when you don't feel like it. Each act of discipline builds another brick in your foundation of strength, and soon that foundation becomes unshakable, because strength isn't a moment, it's a habit. It's built in the ordinary, quiet choices you make every day when no one's looking. People often say, "I wish I had their strength." But strength isn't given, it's earned. It's earned in the gym when you're the last one still lifting. It's earned in the office when you're still working after everyone else goes home. It's earned in silence when you keep going even though no one applauds. Weak people want results without sacrifice. Strong people understand that sacrifice is the price of greatness. The world respects strength because strength represents truth. Truth about effort, about resilience, about human potential. Weakness hides behind excuses. Strength stands exposed before life and says, "Do your worst." The reason the strong inspire us is because they remind us of what we could be if we stopped letting fear win. You can be that reminder for someone else, but first you must become it for yourself. You have everything you need already inside you. The same energy you use to complain could be used to build. The same time you waste doubting could be used to act. The same fear that paralyzes you could fuel your determination. Weakness isn't a lack of strength, it's a misdirection of it. You've been feeding the wrong side of yourself for too long. There's a version of you waiting, one that doesn't break so easily, one that doesn't give up when it hurts, one that refuses to be average. But you can't meet that version while holding on to your excuses. You have to let the weak parts of you die so the strong parts can live. Growth always requires a funeral, the death of who you were to make room for who you must become. The clock is ticking. Every second you spend being weak is a second stolen from the life you could have lived. You don't get those seconds back, so stop waiting for confidence. Stop waiting for certainty. Stop waiting for approval. Move, decide, act, fall if you must, but fall forward. The strong don't win because they never fall. They win because they always get back up. You've been given one life. And whether that life becomes a story of strength or a story of surrender depends entirely on what you do from this moment forward. Weakness will always be there, whispering in your ear, tempting you with comfort and ease. But strength is there too, quiet, patient, waiting for you to choose it. And once you do, once you truly decide that you will no longer live beneath your potential, that you will no longer let fear or fatigue dictate your destiny, everything changes. Because the moment you stop being weak, life stops happening to you and starts happening for you. You no longer drift, you drive, you no longer react, you create, you no longer survive, you rise. And that, more than anything, is what it means to live with strength. And when you begin to live with strength, something inside you changes. You start walking differently. You speak with more conviction. You carry yourself with quiet certainty because you know that no matter what comes, you can handle it. You've stopped begging life to be easier, and instead, you've started preparing yourself to be stronger. You stop seeing challenges as punishment and start seeing them as preparation, because every storm that comes your way now serves a purpose, to refine you, to sharpen you, to harden your resolve until there's nothing left that can break you. The moment you choose strength over weakness, the world starts to reveal its true form. You see that most people aren't defeated by life. They are defeated by their own hesitation. They never commit fully. They never give everything. They spend years standing at the edge of their potential, afraid to jump, convincing themselves that they're not ready. But readiness is an illusion. You will never be fully ready. You just have to decide that you will leap anyway, that you'll build your wings on the way down. That's what separates the powerful from the passive, the willingness to risk failure in pursuit of growth. Strength doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means walking forward despite it. It means understanding that courage is not comfort. It's confrontation. You confront your doubts. You confront your habits. You confront the parts of you that want to stay the same, because weakness always fights for its survival inside you. It doesn't want to die easily. It will whisper that you've done enough, that you deserve rest, that you can start again later. But you can't afford to listen. You must fight it daily. The battle against weakness is the only fight that never ends. But it's also the only fight worth winning. The world will test your resolve. It will send setbacks, heartbreaks, and disappointments to see what you're made of. Most people break because they never built the mental armor to endure. But strength doesn't come from winning. It comes from surviving loss and still standing tall. It comes from failure that didn't destroy you but shaped you. You learn that resilience is not about pretending to be unhurt. It's about refusing to stay hurt. Every time you rise after falling, you prove to yourself that weakness no longer controls you. You have to be ruthless with your excuses. Excuses are the language of the weak. They sound intelligent, they sound justified, but they keep you small. Every time you say, "I can't," you reinforce that weakness. Every time you say, "I'll do it tomorrow," you build another layer of fear around your potential. Tomorrow is the most dangerous word in your vocabulary. It gives comfort to weakness and steals strength from your future. You only have today, this moment, to decide who you'll be. Every choice you make either feeds your strength or feeds your weakness. There's no middle ground. The strongest people you'll ever meet didn't get there by chance. They were forged through pain, through repetition, through discipline. They trained their minds the same way an athlete trains his body, through relentless consistency. They didn't rely on emotion, they relied on commitment. They didn't wait for inspiration, they acted from principle. You must learn to do the same. You must become so dependable to yourself that weakness has no place to hide. Because when you keep your promises to yourself, you build self-respect, and self-respect is the foundation of strength. It's not enough to want more from life. You have to demand more from yourself. Every day, you must hold yourself to a higher standard than the world expects of you. Most people will settle for average because it's safe, but you can't grow in safety. You grow in risk. You grow in uncertainty. You grow in the uncomfortable spaces where weakness tries to pull you back. That's why strong people embrace the hard path. They know that pressure builds diamonds and pain builds power. Every weakness in your life, every bad habit, every excuse, every fear is a signal. It's showing you where your next battle lies. If you avoid that battle, the weakness grows, but if you face it, you grow. Every time you choose confrontation over comfort, you reclaim a piece of your power. And with each victory, your confidence expands. Not arrogance, but quiet, earned confidence that comes from knowing you've done what most people won't. It's easy to talk about strength when life is calm. It's easy to preach resilience when everything is going right. But real strength is proven when your back is against the wall, when the world feels heavy, when nothing seems to work. That's when your true character is revealed. Do you collapse or do you push back? Do you let life dictate your emotions, or do you rise above them? You can't control what happens to you, but you can always control your response. The weak react. The strong respond, and the difference between those two is everything. You must stop treating weakness as something external. It's not the people around you, it's not your environment, it's not your past. Weakness is internal. It's your own voice, your own inaction, your own comfort zone. You can change your entire life the moment you accept that truth. Because once you realize weakness is inside you, you understand that strength is too. You're not waiting for it, you're training it, you're feeding it, you're calling it out one decision at a time. There's no glory in living a half-lived life. There's no pride in looking back with regret, knowing that you let fear steal your future. Weakness always promises comfort but delivers emptiness. It convinces you that playing small is safer, that settling is sensible, but deep down you know it's a lie. You feel it every time you go to bed unsatisfied, every time you look in the mirror and see the gap between who you are and who you could be. That gap doesn't close with time, it closes with action. You have to train yourself to do what others avoid. Wake up when it's hard, work when you're tired, speak when you're afraid, push when you're uncomfortable. Every time you go against your weakness, you strengthen your will, and over time that will becomes unbreakable. You start to operate with a different mindset, one that doesn't need motivation, one that doesn't depend on external praise. You become self-fueled, self-disciplined, and self-directed. Weak people crave validation because they doubt their own worth. Strong people create it through consistent action. You don't need the world to tell you you're strong. You'll know it when you've earned it. You'll feel it in the way you handle stress, in the way you recover from setbacks, in the way you no longer break when life pushes you. That's real power, not the illusion of toughness, but the calm certainty that no matter what happens, you'll endure. At some point, you have to make a decision. Do you want to keep being controlled by weakness, or do you want to take control of your destiny? Because both paths are difficult. Weakness brings the pain of regret. Strength brings the pain of discipline, but only one leads to freedom. You have to choose your pain wisely. Discipline hurts now, but regret hurts forever. So when life tests you, and it will, Don't look for the easy exit. Stand your ground, look your challenges in the eye, and remind yourself that you are not here to survive, you are here to grow. Every trial you face is an invitation to rise. Every moment of struggle is a chance to build something indestructible inside you. You are being sculpted by the very things you think are trying to destroy you. The weak seek comfort. The strong seek challenge. The weak pray for fewer problems. The strong pray for greater strength. The weak hope to escape pressure. The strong use pressure to evolve. You were never meant to hide from life. You were meant to master it. That mastery begins when you stop being fragile, when you stop allowing every emotion, every obstacle, every failure to dictate your direction. Strength isn't about arrogance. It's not about dominance. It's about self-command. It's about knowing that you can endure hardship without losing your center. It's about being grounded when others panic, being focused when others scatter, being disciplined when others fold. It's about knowing that whatever happens around you, nothing can shake what's within you, and when you reach that point, when weakness no longer controls your choices, you begin to live with power, quiet power, steady power, the kind that doesn't need to prove itself because it knows what it is. You start to see that life's difficulties are not barriers, they're opportunities. You start to see that pain is not punishment, it's instruction. You start to realize that everything you need to become unstoppable has always been there, waiting for you to stop being weak long enough to unleash it. And once you begin to unleash it, you start to see the world differently. You no longer move through life as a victim of circumstance. You move as a creator of circumstance. You realize that you've been carrying power all along, hidden beneath layers of doubt, fear, and hesitation. The moment you strip those layers away, you meet the version of yourself that was buried under weakness, the one that was meant to lead, to build, to inspire, to overcome. That version of you is fierce, focused, and unstoppable. It doesn't seek approval. It doesn't wait for opportunity. It creates its own momentum. Weakness taught you to settle. It convinced you that you had limits, that your dreams were too far, that your efforts wouldn't matter. But strength teaches you the opposite. It shows you that limits are illusions, that persistence bends reality, that the world yields to those who refuse to give up. Once you experience that truth, there's no going back. You can't unsee your potential once you've touched it. You can't return to pretending that you're powerless once you've felt what it means to be strong. Strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it's quiet, steady, unshakable. It's the voice that says, "I'll keep going," when everything around you says stop. It's the calmness in chaos, the steadiness in storms, the patience in pressure. Weakness crumbles under uncertainty, but strength finds purpose in it. You start to realize that chaos is not your enemy, it's your training ground. Every hard moment, every uncomfortable situation, every failure, every delay, they're shaping you. They're teaching you to adapt, to endure, to become the kind of person who cannot be easily moved. You have to understand something about life. It will never hand you more than you can handle, but it will always hand you exactly enough to test your limits. It's not trying to break you, it's trying to build you. But if you keep escaping every test, you'll never develop the endurance to handle greater blessings. Weakness makes you wish for an easy life. Strength makes you build the ability to handle a difficult one. Because the truth is, the higher you climb, the harder the winds will blow. The greater the opportunity, the heavier the responsibility. Only those who have conquered their weakness can stand tall when the pressure rises. Most people think strength is born from winning, but it's born from enduring. It's forged in late nights, quiet struggles, lonely decisions, and moments when no one believes in you. It's built when you stop relying on applause and start relying on discipline. When you stop waiting for encouragement and start pushing yourself because you refuse to settle, weakness collapses under silence, strength grows in it. Weakness needs validation, strength needs vision. To be strong, you must accept that not everyone will understand you, not everyone will support you. People will call you stubborn, obsessed, too focused. Let them. Weak minds mock what they don't understand. They laugh at those who outwork them because it's easier to criticize than to change. But you didn't come here to be liked. You came here to become great. You came here to fulfill the potential that weakness has kept you from seeing. The world rewards strength because strength builds, protects, and leads. Weakness consumes, complains, and follows, and you can choose at any moment which one you'll embody. You can decide that today you'll stop being controlled by emotions, by fear, by procrastination. You can decide that you'll act whether you feel like it or not, because action is how you escape weakness. Every disciplined act chips away at it. Every time you do what you said you'd do, even when it's hard, you're reprogramming your mind for strength. You start to realize that strength is not a mood, it's a muscle. It grows through repetition. You train it like you train your body. The more you resist temptation, the more powerful your will becomes. The more you act despite fear, the less fear controls you. The more you endure discomfort, the less discomfort bothers you. You begin to develop mental calluses, the kind that protect you from quitting when things get hard. And those calluses become your armor. There will be days when everything in you wants to give up, when your body aches, your mind doubts, and your spirit feels tired. Those are the defining moments. The weak see those moments as signals to stop. The strong see them as signals to push harder. Because strength is built in the exact moment you feel like quitting but keep going anyway. That's when transformation happens. That's when the old version of you dies and the new one is born. You'll notice that the more you strengthen your mind, the quieter your excuses become. The more you take control of your emotions, the less power they have over you. You stop reacting impulsively to life and start responding intelligently. You stop getting angry at challenges and start welcoming them. You stop blaming others and start improving yourself. Weakness thrives in blame. Strength thrives in responsibility. You can't be both. You have to choose one. Strength isn't about domination. It's about direction. It's not about controlling others. It's about mastering yourself. When you stop being weak, you stop needing control because you are control. You become deliberate in your thoughts, intentional in your actions, and grounded in your values. People will feel your presence before you speak. Because true strength is silent power, it doesn't shout, it radiates. Most of the pain you feel in life comes not from what happens to you, but from the way you interpret it. Weakness reacts emotionally, exaggerating the pain. Strength sees the lesson, the pattern, the opportunity for growth. You can't control life's events, but you can always control your perspective, and perspective is power. The one who masters perspective masters peace. There's a strength that comes from knowing you've survived your worst days. The kind of strength that can't be taught, only earned. You carry that strength quietly, like a secret weapon. You no longer fear tomorrow because you've already proven you can handle today. That's when you stop chasing strength and start becoming it. You move with calm confidence, knowing that no matter what comes, you will not break. Weakness is loud. It needs attention, sympathy, comfort. Strength is calm. It needs no reassurance, no validation. You'll find that once you start living with strength, your circle will change. People who once connected to your weakness won't understand your growth. They'll say you've changed, and they'll be right. You've changed from dependent to disciplined, from emotional to intentional, from uncertain to unshakable. Growth always demands solitude because most people can't handle the silence it requires. Don't fear outgrowing people. Don't fear walking alone. Weakness seeks company. Strength seeks clarity. You'll find peace in walking your path alone if it means staying true to your principles, because the reward of strength is not applause, it's freedom. Freedom from fear, from dependency, from doubt. Freedom to think clearly, to move confidently, to live purposefully. Once you start living from that place, you no longer waste energy on things that don't matter. You stop arguing with small minds, stop engaging with negativity, stop dwelling on things beyond your control. Weakness thrives in distraction, strength thrives in focus. The strong don't waste effort, they channel it. Every word, every thought, every action serves a purpose. You begin to operate at a higher level, where your energy becomes sacred and your time becomes priceless. And soon, strength becomes your default state. You don't have to remind yourself to be disciplined, you simply are. You don't have to psych yourself up for challenges, you welcome them. You don't need constant motivation, you've built momentum. Because once strength becomes part of your identity, everything changes. You stop acting like the person you used to be and start becoming the person you were meant to be. Weakness dies slowly, but it dies every time you choose action over hesitation, truth over comfort, purpose over pleasure. It dies every time you silence the voice that says, "Not today," and replace it with, "Now." It dies every time you do the right thing even when no one is watching. That's how greatness is built, one strong decision at a time. You were never meant to live small. You were meant to stand firm in the face of storms, to face pain without flinching, to carry yourself with dignity even when life tries to crush you. Weakness hides from life, strength faces it head on. Weakness waits for permission, strength gives it to itself. Weakness fears failure, strength uses it as fuel. That's who you were designed to be. Not a victim, not a follower, not a bystander, but a warrior of will and purpose. And when you start living that way, you stop hoping for things to change. You start becoming the change. You stop asking for strength. You start embodying it. You stop being afraid of losing and start being afraid of not trying. Because at the end of it all, weakness achieves nothing. Strength builds everything. And once you've tasted the power of strength, once you've felt what it's like to be unstoppable, you'll never again accept anything less from yourself.